Let's return now to the Brexit rows in the Commons. Earlier this afternoon I brought together the Westminster editor of the Daily Record, Torquil Crichton, and the Westminster correspondent of the Press and Journal, Jennifer McKiernan. I began by asking Jennifer if there could still be a deal on the Brexit legislation between Westminster and Holyrood.
David Mundell is saying that the door is still open. He's been saying that for a long time now, so I really don't think there is much chance. Basically, the UK government's trying to kick it back to the Scottish government. The Scottish government's trying to kick it back to the UK government. At the moment, the person who's making most sense over it is Willie Rennie, who's saying that neither of them are trying hard enough, and we need to actually have more legislation in place to sort out these kinds of disagreements in future.
So if somebody actually walked in through David Mundell's open door, would they receive? Would they be able to fix something that makes this work or not? Well, a Scottish government minister.
Well, Mundell was quite pointed, wasn't he, for the first time in public at least, saying that he thought he'd had an agreement with Mike Russell on this, i.e. I don't have an agreement with Nicola Sturgeon, so he's trying to drive a small wedge there. But nothing's going to happen now, nothing's going to move. It's going to move out of their hands. It's going to go here to the Supreme Court, where the UK government will have to challenge the Scottish government's continuity bill to continue EU legislation, Scots law, and it will have to be resolved like that. And Mundell said at the end, the conventions of the UK Constitution are that this is the Supreme Parliament, where Westminster says goes, despite however many MSPs across all parties except the Tories voting against this.
So it looks like it'll end up in the courts. Big discussion here and featured in Prime Minister's Question Time about Brexit, and amendments are coming back from the Lords. Is it fair to say still that the UK government, the Tory party, is badly divided on this?
Absolutely. When you look at the latest movement, and it's so complicated, but the latest movement is all about whether this backstop should be time limited.
The backstop is the fallback position, I suppose, how you could describe it, yeah.
Because we're still in a situation where there's no agreement over whether we should have Max FAC or a new customs partnership. The EU, of course, has rejected both of these as unworkable, and at the moment there's no solution to be had. So Theresa May is pushing hard for there to be a time-limited backstop, but again the EU is saying that's impossible because that just means you can trundle on with the benefits of the EU without any of the payments.
What is to voters, normal people, not political anoraks like us, when we talk about customs unions and Max FACs, what does it mean to all these people?
New listeners start here. Basically, Britain is leaving the EU on the 29th of March 2019. There's going to be a transition period until December 2020 where things stay the same. The light will be switched on and off, but we'll still be in the room. Now it looks like there's going to be a transition after the transition because they can't agree what the outcome should be. So there'll be a transition. That's the backstop. But Theresa May won't publish a big plan for what Britain will look like after Brexit because she can't get any agreement in her own cabinet on how long this backstop should last.
We're talking about disagreements. What about the Labour Party? Don't the Labour Party have a chance to defeat the government here? They appear next week, but they appear not to be wanting to take it.
No, so Labour MPs like Ian Murray, for example, are absolutely furious right now because the Lords Amendment to stay in the EEA could potentially be a government defeat. But Labour at the moment, they're pushing for they've put forward a separate amendment. With their own position, which is obviously not going to win support because it will be a Labour-only position.
The EEA is the European Economic Area. Why is Labour doing this? Briefly, if you don't mind.
Well, Brexit could stop next Tuesday if Labour got its ranks together with Tory rebels and forced the Commons to adopt the European Economic Area, the Norway model. Because Corbyn's a Eurosceptic. He doesn't really want to be in the single market. He wants to be a Democrat and accept the outcome of the Brexit referendum and deliver that for these Labour constituencies that voted Brexit. So he'll have rebels against him, he'll have Labour MPs for him. Labour is as divided as the Tories on this. The only inevitability is that the 29th of March 2019, Brexit happens.
Dr. Crichton, Jennifer McKiernan, thank you very much indeed.